Good morning and a very warm welcome to my presentation today. My name is Pankaj and I'm here to talk about my presentation on LJMU MBA program. The topic that I have selected was analyzing the leadership strategy for deploying automation in the professional services department of a specific company called Ansia Core Technologies, who was looking to drive change management and to drive towards efficiency and scale. But before I jump to my presentation, I would like to thank you, Dr. Shirali Arya. She has been an exceptional mentor and coach for me throughout my study. She provided a lot of candid feedback in terms of improving my study. So I would like to thank you, Dr. Shirali. Here is an agenda that I would like to cover in next 10 to 15 minutes. I'll start with background of study, introduction, research questions, specific questions that are outlined to the company that I have gone through the research, method that I follow to deliver some outcomes, the results that I obtain through the methodologies, a conclusion and discussions as part of my recommendations, and the future contributions. To start with introduction, the IT automation has massively changed the world in the last 3 to 4 decades. Automation has its own positive and negative effects to the humanity, companies, organizations, and the people. There are different type of automations which are covering different advantages and disadvantages. Technology organizations today solely depend on automation technologies to drive efficiency and scale for their customers and their companies. IT automation got its own advantages, as I talked about it. The market forces, the workforce impact, the ability to adopt with the automation technologies, the different scale and impact of the automation technologies, which drives and change and innovation in the companies, etc., etc. Organizations leadership, different type of leadership, which are practiced in the corporate world, etc., which are also part of my background study. um, the, the the time that I spend a lot on IT automation, uh, specifically to the company, as I said, what are the advantages this company will have, what are the disadvantage that the management and staff see today on developing these automation capabilities. There are leadership requirements that I foresee as part of my study, which as well I covered in my background study. Effective change management is what really drive the transformation for the organizations and the people, as well has been covered as part of the study. These are the three pressing questions as part of the research. What are the challenges leaders confronting in achieving the organization's innovations and change? Uh, any company we see today has been going through changes. The leaders always have been confronted with different challenges that they have to foresee, they have to navigate through, and make sure that they're delivering the outcome and growth to the organizations. Specific to the company NCR Core, what are the roles of leadership in bringing about the change and transformation for the organizations, and what are the leadership strategies the NCR Core management should be implementing as part of driving a successful change in their professional services department. These are the method that I follow, starting with the primary research, where I spend a lot of time in collecting the data, and the data was collected, after consultation with the CEO of the NCR Core, Mr. Nagendra Singh Roy, who had been having pretty strong leadership, long-term vision, mission, and strategy for the company, who understand the market, who understand the forces that are driving the market, and who understand where company is today and where he would like to take the company in the future. As part of the research, I have spoken to the certain staff members who were provided by the CEO, and understood their point of view about the change, about the leadership, and how do they feel about the change management that leadership is driving as part of the long-term vision. What are the motivation staff have today, and how is the readiness of the staff in order to support the change, has been also covered as part of this primary research in surveys. The data as well also followed with an interview with the CEO, where I spent like few hours understanding the clear vision, mission, and strategy for the company, what they would like to achieve, how the CEO would like to see a company in next 5 years and 10 years, etc., etc. And there are some discussions and recommendations as part of the study as well. I follow this Google Forms. I follow the Zoom for the interview purpose, and there are some secondary research which I'll talk about in the next slides. Secondary research actually provided me a lot of insight. So I must thank all these sources that I follow as part of my secondary research. A very detailed study has been already conducted on different topics of IT automations, different topics of leadership, and different topics of change management strategies. I spend a lot of time at ResearchGate. All these research papers who provides technical studies, different websites which are providing the advantages of automation, different automation capabilities, proven capabilities company have used as part of their change and transformation. A lot of write-ups being as well analyzed by researchers in this study in terms of organizations leadership, change management, and importance of the most important, communication. The communication drives the effective change, and I think I must say that that builds a lot of different perspective to me in terms of developing the clear strategy and suggestion for the ANSIA code. These are the results that I obtained as part of my research. There are 15, 30, 13 or 15 questions. 13 questions are objective based, wherein the participants who were approved by the CEO of the company had provided their feedback, and there are a couple of descriptive questions which are providing the outcome of how the staff is thinking about it, what staff can contribute today, and where staff is confused, and what staff is really ready in terms of driving the change management. The right side of the slide covers the favorability of the change management, and as well as the staff and leadership relationship. There are indicators which are the favorable ones on each questions, which are the non-favorable for the other questions, and which are the mixed and neutral, which obviously is not in favor of change management that management of ANSIA Core Professional Services Department would like to drive. On a conclusion and discussion, as I just share my results, the results are really not in favor of change management at this point. Management and leadership requires a lot of time and emphasis on understanding these results. As we see, 20% of employees are in the favor of change management. Definitely, that's a slightly good sign of management that would like to drive the change, and these are the change agents, I would say, who can be helping driving the change. But 80% of staff who is not favorable, or they're confused and have a mixed feeling about the change, has to be engaged as part of the change management strategies. A sign of lack of participations, lower engagement between management and employees. I think leaders are quite focused on day-to-day operations, and not able to really convey the benefit of the change and the long-term strategy of a company. Trust and transparency are missing at this point. Lack of employee management communication, I talked about it. Leadership practices, I think there is a specific need of driving the better leadership strategy that I will be covering as part of my suggestions. And lack of change management strategy is definitely needed to the ANSIA Core Professional Services Department. In the right side, I'm covering some of the suggestions for the NCR Core department. There has to be clear, proven leadership and communication strategy to be adopted here. I must suggest the ADKAR model of communication. This model of communication has been proven by many industry and company, and very well articulated how the change management should be driven in the organizations, which start with an awareness, desire, and it actually, as I said, whether people really understand the change or not, and then the desire of the change management, whether people really understand what is in it for them to really drive the knowledge that people really have about the change. If really require the people to be updated on what changes are happening, how are they being, uh, how are they being educated about the challenge, about the the change, and their ability to be uplifted to drive the change management. And the last part is, once the change is kind of frame out, you are able to see the change. People are able to drive certain basic outcome results. The reinforcement, that like, how do you measure the change, how do you really measure the progress of the change, etc., etc., to be covered as part of this. The transformation leadership style is my second suggestion, that is definitely required, which covers idealizing the influence. The influence, the charisma has to be created by the leaders, right? And that can only be created when there is a strong engagement, there is a trust relationship between staff and the management team. The inspirational motivation should be created, why people should be doing what they are doing, right? Which has to be done by providing the clear organization mission and vision and strategy, sharing to them staff that why the automation is needed, why if they don't do an automation changes to their processes and tools, what effects they have in the future, and if they follow, what are the effects they may have in terms of growth of the organizations. Lead by examples, intellectual stimulations, building a trusting working relationship is very, very important. That can only be done by effective communication and employee engagement. That has to be done regularly, again and again, within staff and management. Individualized consideration, that's exactly very, very important. Again, regular one-on-ones, formal informal discussions with the team members, understanding how things are going on personally, professionally, and engaging more with the specific change agents to the organizations. And Siacor has about 20% staff who are motivated by the change, so the management should pick up these 20% change agents and start engaging, so that these changes can further enhance the automation program, um, uh, development and automation program strategy for the business, right? The next slide talks about the future works. As I said, the research always has some limitations, which has been covering a specific department. Now, if you really want to do a further study on this research, we can really look into the end customer space, how the change has been impacting end customers, whether really customers are able to see a real benefit of the change, and really helping them to achieve their business outcomes in terms of different measurement that industry have. Let's say take an example, RTO and RPOs. The future study also can be conducted of effect of technology environment, that what technology you're using today, what technology you require tomorrow, and you can have a detailed research on that as well. The research also can be conducted on people skill transformation, which is very, very important, because services is all about people, their capabilities, and their motivation to drive the change, right? So the detailed research can be conducted in different learning paths and methods that can be leveraged, developing the IT automation capabilities. As well, we can have a research on organization maturity and leadership requirement as part of the changing dynamics in the industry, and changing journey of the organizations as part of the transformation roadmap. These are some contribution. I would like to thank you all these different sources of information that I used as part of my research. I talked about the research gate, script, and different sources that I used. Journals, McKinsey got different journals about change management leadership. Excellent one. Thank you so much for having those journals on your websites. Books and articles, I spent few of hours on my developing some understanding on certain books. Malhotra, Grint, all these are really good articles and papers in the books, which help me to develop a change management and leadership strategy for the organizations. With that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you so much and really appreciate your time. Bye-bye.